In 2006, the first commercial fishermen start looking at catching cod in East Greenland. Huge cod spawning, and it reached the newspaper all around not in the world, but at least in the North Atlantic. And everybody was very excited, and it has really created a lot of expectation at this point in Greenland, in Faroe Island, in Norway. We have fishery agreement with all the Nordic countries. So everybody is waiting for this cod. We knew about this because we have surveys, we have our own surveys, we have EU surveys, we have different kinds of investigation in East and West Greenland. So we already had an idea that this was going to come. Just a brief story about the cod history. We do have spawning area in Greenland. This is the green. In good years, where we have the very large biomass of cod, this was where we have offshore cod spawning. But when we don't have cod spawning in our own water, we occasionally get egg and larvae transported with a current from Iceland. And they are coming here, they go around, and they live and grow up in West Greenland, and they move back to Iceland when they mature. This was what happened with a year class, a famous year class called 84 year class. It gave a fishery on 100,000 tons. So we are dependent on both our own spawning, but also of cod coming as egg and larvae from Iceland. This is the recent temperature from 1950 up till 2007. This is the mean. And as you can see, this is where the cod decreased. This is where we have the 84 year class coming in. And then we had this increase in temperature, and we actually have a record high in 2005. But we are back to normal, or to mean. As I said, we have a lot of information on the cod and the biomass. We have a Greenland survey and EU survey. The EU survey is very good because it actually went down to 82 up till today. And it was able to get information on the 84 year class back in time. But as you can see, compared to the 84 year class, the biomass of cod in West and East Greenland is not as big as it was in 84. The Greenland survey started in 92, so we do not have that many information. But it's important to see that at least the cod biomass is not growing into the heaven. We are not able to make sophisticated analytic assessment in the cod at this time because we have so few data. But we have made an approximately calculation on spawning stock. And again, important to see, we have very high spawning stock back in the 60s. At this time, we have spawning stock, but it's still low compared to earlier. So the cod status is that we have seen spawning stock in East Greenland, and this is very important because when we have our own cod stock in East Greenland, it will for certain go round with the current, get to the west coast when it spawns, and it will bring the eggs will come around. And it should be protected when we're talking about the spawning stock area north of 63 degrees. We do have 2 year classes. We know we have a year class called 2003, could be from Iceland, so it might migrate back when it's mature. And we have a 2005 that could come from East Greenland, or it could be actually the one that has been born at the spawning stock in East Greenland. So the 2007 survey indicate that the 2003 year class is less than first concluded, and the 2005 year class, still a lot of uncertainty on that one. So we are not swimming in cod yet. And the biological advises also that there should be no fishing in 2008. And we don't think actually, we are about to give the advice for 2009, and at this point we don't believe there will be a different advice for 2009. So although there has been an increase observed, the number of recruit is still low, the present spawning area is very small, and the biomass is small as well. And there are some uncertainty about the 2003 we are talking about, should we fish the 2003 year class before it go back to Iceland, or should we try to let it live and see if it's born in Greenland? We can't tell it because we don't know the percentages of the 2003 year class coming from Iceland or not.
3 minutes.
We
3 minutes.
have another haddock coming in as an indicator species. Let me, sorry, I have been running out of time, so this is a shrimp fishery. I will just shortly mention that this has been an increasing fishery until recently. And we are now on a downward trend. We know that from our biomass information. We know that we have no recruits coming in. There's no new shrimp on its way. And we know that the fishery already had changed pattern. They moved north. Is that because of temperature, predation by cod? We have the information of the shrimp area and temperature that does not show a big difference. We have cod coming in, and we can see something happen in that, but it's very difficult for us at this point to know exactly what is going on. And the advice for shrimp actually has been that it should be decreased by 30% to ensure that, and even more maybe in 2008. So the question to new fishing ground at this point is that we actually have shrimp decreasing very fast. We have cod that is not increasing as fast as expected. So I don't believe that we will have any new fishing ground in the near future. We need to be patient, and we need to have proper management. And that was why I showed the picture of the history when the cod went in before. There was no fishing in the first 15 years. We could, of course, be lucky that the temperature, the rise in any kind of model shows that there will be higher temperature in Greenland. So it could be good for cod. And we certainly need to understand better what is going to happen during the climate. And we are in a position maybe later this week that we will know for sure if we are going to have a center of climate research in Nuuk in 2008. That will be an interdisciplinary center with focus on effect of climate changes of the Greenland environment. We are talking about nature and environment. We're going to investigate that, society and trade, technique and facility, interaction between the three sectors. So we certainly have a very great opportunity to make cooperation between the climate center you are starting out here in Faroe Island. We have a research program called EcoGreen, and we have a lot of activity right now at this point, especially from international science coming from Europe and from US. And why should people have any interest in Greenland except for ourselves? It is actually a very great study area for ecosystem. We have relatively few species. We have rapid and drastic changes as we have seen here. We have a Greenland economy that is really dependent in full extent of the living resources. And any climate change will have a large influence of the society. So thank you for your attention. And who knows?